Hi ladies and gentlemen, today is April 26th and I'm making this video real quick because I wanted you to know that the Pete Santilli show today, Saturday, April 26th, that we just finished was very important. It has to do with a number of issues that I know some of you have problems with different radio and alternative media personalities, but you need to put that aside for right now. The information that came out on this show is absolutely critical for you to understand where we are today. Not just the Bundy situation, but a lot of other things. I especially want to commend Larry Pinkney, who is a former Black Panther, for giving his insights today. Absolutely outstanding. I have so much respect for him. And to hear what he has to say regarding Bundy's statements in regards to where the people are today and how we need to come together, which is really what he was doing, not about racism, but about coming together, putting aside our differences, and seeing what the establishment's really done to all of us is really important, and he makes a good point of that. So I'd love you to see that. Again, it's the April 26th Pete Santilli show. It's probably not up yet. I'm putting this up right away because I have some other things I need to do. I'm not even sure of the episode number, but you can figure that out. I do want to mention this part. I'm just going to be in very general terms here because I don't want to take away from anything that Pete's done, number one. Number two, I don't want to reveal any very important intelligence information or people who could be hurt by somebody saying something that we shouldn't. But I will say this, that if you listen to Pete's show, you'll find out that there was some intelligence information, unconfirmed as far as reliability, but it did come from a source that we had to take seriously to some extent, that there was going to be a drone strike on the Bundys and the militia out there on the Bundy Ranch. Now, you know, I wasn't there to vet the people that had this. Stuart Rhodes was, and also some people that he knows were intelligence operatives before, and they vetted, I guess, the second source. I'm not really sure. You can listen to the show. But the point is that we proceeded very methodically on this. We didn't jump on the cameras. We didn't start telling about all the things that were going to happen and sending up red flags and scaring people. It was a very methodical staffing procedure with a group of people, and you'll hear about those people, not by name, but there were about 5 or 6 of us that for several hours war gamed this, staffed it to figure out what the best course of action was. And the final course of action was call 911. Try to get Governor Sandoval out there, the National Guard, to be a line in the sand, if nothing else. Now, that didn't happen. But anyway, go look at this and listen to it. It's very important. Why do I give a little more credence now to this than when I first started working on it last night? During our conversation with the people on the ground at Bundy Ranch, I'll just leave it at that, we did receive electronic warfare interference. Now you have to understand something, you know, all of this could have been a psyop, but to actually conduct, I'm not talking about eavesdropping, okay? I'm talking about actual attacks on our communications so that we could not communicate with electronic warfare type of interference. That is an act of war, folks, even if there was not going to be a drone strike. Okay, even if there wasn't going to be that was all a psyop to get us worried for whatever reason, that electronic warfare came at a time when we were discussing possible defensive scenarios to keep people from getting hurt, and we were jammed. That is an act of war on the American people. Were the militia out there planning on doing some type of offensive action against the government? They never have been. Okay? They're there for the security of the Bundy family and their supporters. They're no different in their security functions, as I make this point in the show, than the security team for Glenn Beck or the security team for Michael Moore. It's the same thing, and yet they're being attacked by electronic warfare activity. And this time I was. Basically, I was a victim of this as well, as was Pete Santilli. So you have to understand this is getting very serious. There are evil, corrupt people in this government that now can stop at nothing to make sure that these land deals and all of their other corruptive actions go through, because they're looking at the barrel of guns from 2 sides of the pond, you know, the Eastern European side and from the Chinese on the Pacific side. if they don't pull this off. And believe me, there are people that will probably get rid of him. It won't be people in the militia or the conservative movement or anything like that. If you see people like Harry Reid start disappearing or having problems, suddenly comes up dead from suicide or whatever, and again, that's not me saying this, it's because the kind of people they're associating with, they have to make sure that they do this theft from the American people, this put down of the American people, in order to keep their money and their lives. I think that's how serious this is getting. Which brings us to the point of why they're employing this character assassination against Clive and Bundy. Now, I won't go into a lot of detail on that. Glenn Beck jumped on this because he's a coward, and I'm going to say that right to you, Glenn Beck, you're a coward, or you're an operative. Either way, you've totally thrown yourself out of the realm of trustability. Okay, I don't believe a thing you do anymore. Not that I ever did, but now it's certain. Okay. Anyway, this character assassination that's going on Bundy, if you listen to his original full interview, he talks about the importance of everybody pulling together, Mexicans, Americans, blacks, everybody. And all he brings out is how the system has put us down to the point where we can't take care of ourselves. And he uses some examples, but it's not out of a racist position. Go look at those. I've added some links here from Pastor Manning and from another gentleman. You can also find some from Lieutenant Colonel West, I believe at this point. I haven't heard anything from Ben Carson, but you'll see what I'm talking about as far as how some of the really good leaders in the black community are showing that this was a compassionate statement by this man. He really has a care for everybody. Now, in my own personal opinion, would I have brought this up? Probably not. But we're talking about the sophistication of a mainstream media that's really the propaganda arm of the U.S. government, and baiting this guy into explaining something that he really didn't need to. He could have stayed on the issues, his own issues, as far as the land grab and all of that, the felonious actions of officers in the BLM, that kind of thing. But you have to understand when you're getting interviewed, especially an honest person, okay? When an honest person is asked a question, they want to try to pull in all of the reasons why they're concerned about something. I've fallen victim to that myself. It's not a good thing to get off topic, but when you're trying to prove that you're actually concerned about people, then you have a tendency to bring in things that where you're trying to identify and personify your honesty. And sometimes that's a mistake. It's best to talk in sound bites, as I'm not doing now. All right. Well, I'm a little tired today. It was a very grueling night last night. We took some extra security precautions ourselves because of the electronic warfare that occurred. Obviously, they knew where we were, and not that we thought a drone was going to come in. I don't expect that. And I told the people last night during our counseling that I didn't think that it was real, that there are ramifications that would be crazy for the U.S. government or any of its rogue agencies to conduct an operation like that. I'll just leave it at that. However, when that electronic warfare happened, that was an act of war, and so obviously we were getting into areas where they wanted to keep us from communicating, and who knows what else. So that's enough for now. Stay on your toes. Keep your eyes on the horizon and your ears on the ground for all of this that's occurring. Get angry. Calling your legislators and your governors and all those things. I know that doesn't work, but you still have to do it. They still have to know that you're aware of what's going on. We have to raise the crescendo on this thing. Okay? That's very important. All right, I was going to say some other things, as I always say, but I won't for now. Those two things I wanted to get out. It's serious, folks. We're really in a war. We're really in a struggle for our lives and the lives of our children.